just a very brief story first to give some context for this. So we've had the opportunity in this, battle to try to oppose the plant and advocate for our town to speak to a lot of leaders in the state. So we talked a lot about advocacy today, and I think the office of the Lieutenant Governor is trying to be positioned largely about advocacy, right? If you go and you look, there's a list of initiatives on the website that the current Lieutenant Governor advocates for. We've had the opportunity to advocate in front of a lot of leaders in our state. And I didn't ask for that, but it's come to us, and I stepped up to try to talk to some of these people to influence them, and other people have made introductions for me to participate in that. We've had a chance to host people to come to visit and to hear our story. So we hosted people like Lincoln Chafee. He came out, he listened to the people, we showed him the location, we told him our story, we told the facts. Boom, he came out opposed to the plant. He listened to the people, became an advocate for the people. We had the opportunity to talk to the Attorney General, thanks to Cindy setting up that conversation. We laid out the facts, we told our story. He came out against the plant. We visited with Lieutenant Governor Dan McKee. He came to our town, we laid out the story, we laid out the facts, we showed him the site. He's the single only person that we've spoken to like that, in that sort of way, who did not come out and oppose the plan. So when I think about somebody that tries to position themselves as an advocate, I'm sorry to editorialize here a little bit, but that's a joke to me. He has not supported our cause. I want to juxtapose that against your support for us, Aaron. When I think about advocacy, we've all been thrust into these positions that we didn't ask for, and we've gone down to the State House to talk to people and do things that we never would have thought we would have done before. We came to testify in front of legislation, and it was my very first time ever speaking in front of legislators. And you were one of those people. And you were a friendly voice, you were supportive of us from the very beginning, you were opposed to this from the very beginning, and we didn't even have to come and beg you like we begged some of these other people. We have literally had to beg some of these people to oppose the plant and to support our town. And you supported us from the very beginning, and I want to call you out for that, and I want to thank you. My question. Sorry. I love your continuing the theme of advocacy. So I love your commercial on TV, bringing the State House back to the people. Again, we spent a lot of time in the State House, and it has been a very eye-opening experience. For anybody that didn't do this before, to walk into there and see the lobbyists there, just, I came up the stairs one time and they're just hovered around the door, waiting for them all to come out like vultures. And listen, some people lobby and do good work, and I get it, but it's tough. It's got to be tough to fight against that, right? And so you talked about that a bit tonight. Your commercial talks about breaking the kind of the stronghold of the lobbyists over the state, bringing the power back to the people. And I think, when I think about the problems in our state, and we have a beautiful state, okay? I moved here, I chose to come to the state. I didn't even grow up here, I chose to move here to the state and to start my family here. I want to see our state be better. I want to see our state thrive, all people, from all parts of the state. But we have two major problems. I think it's a lack of leadership in our state, and it is the control of all of these special interests that immobilize people, right? That's why the park slots are here. Nobody stepped up to the leadership position, and everyone else was immobilized by all of their special interests that they have to keep happy. So, here's the question. How will you change that? How, as an advocate, can you help to break the back of all of those special interests, to bring the people into the State House, to bring these problems out into the light of day? Tell us some of the ideas specifically that you will do, because we need it bad, and I want to be inspired.
Well, thank you, first of all, again, for all of your work, and just we probably could not add the amount of number of hours that you have put into this fight over the years, and I see you all over the state, and so deeply grateful as someone who cares about this fight as well for your leadership. And thank you for those generous words. I think there's a lot of concrete things that we can do to open up the system, to try to break the hold that the special interests have on our State House right now. Some of them are issues that I've been pushing for in the past. This last legislative session, I introduced a legislative package that I called the Clear Act, that I tried to think of a bunch of the different concrete specific obstacles that regular people have to come into the State House and structures that make it easier for well-to-do lobbyists to be heard and change those. So simple things like, first of all, can we get some public parking at the State House so that you can actually physically get there? So you don't have to walk like 7 blocks and get a parking ticket. Right, exactly. It's a public building. It's in people's houses. It should have some public parking and also more easily accessible public transportation there. Things like, can we have some child care accessible at the State House? I can't tell you how many times I've talked to folks with parental responsibilities wanted to come testify. They came up there, started to get late, and they were like, I gotta go, I got kids. We can solve that. Things like rules changes to say that the first 10 spots in a committee hearing sign-up list need to be reserved for members of the public, not for professional lobbyists who get there early and they sign up and they go on and on and on and on. And we're all waiting for like 2 in the morning, as you said. Things like investing in technology. There's a lot of state houses that have done some innovative things. I think Rhode Island's pretty behind to have opportunities for remote access, for remote testimony at hearings, so that folks who can't physically be there can still make their voices heard. And then, how can we get the corrupting influence of money out of our politics? The Clear package included a measure to say that during the legislative session, elected officials cannot be taking contributions from lobbyists and PACs. The sad reality is that right now, after legislative session, after the hearings end, the fundraisers begin, and the same people that are there in the committee come out to the fundraisers and write the checks. And it's legal, but it's, to say it doesn't influence how people think about issues is silly. And I think that policy should be decided based on the strength of an argument, not on the size of the check that one can write. So I think there's a lot of specific rules changes you can make. Those are just a few. I could go on and on. And I think the Lieutenant Governor's office is in a unique role to sort of take that on. A lot of those things are not sexy. It's hard to get attention for them. So to have a statewide position that's really going to say, these structural issues, that's going to be our focus. We're going to talk about campaign finance reform. We're going to talk about rules changes. By the way, and this is a little bit less relevant to this issue, but I think there are some other rules changes that can open up the system a lot. Things like, at the end of every session, the legislature votes to suspend the rules. And so the rules that govern how the legislature works, that allow for some level of transparency, time, so that folks can know what's going on, get thrown out the window. And that's how some of you, I'm sure, have read, like, the legislature passes like 300 bills in the last 3 days of these long sessions. And it's hard to know what's going on. It's hard for people to weigh in. If you change the rule to say that we can't suspend the rules, that forces the legislature to do work out across the whole session so that people know what's going on and can weigh in. So there's a lot of changes we can make. It's not going to happen unless you have someone really running point and driving that advocacy home, building the coalitions, bringing together groups like Common Cause and others to really direct that advocacy. And that's what our Lieutenant Governor should be doing.